Good afternoon and welcome to episode 3 of Made You Look magazine. Thank you to everyone who's watching this. The idea behind the Made You Look magazine is to promote other business owners just like me, probably just like you if you're watching this video, ultimately by creating that real people first, down to earth video content that anyone can access as long as they've got an internet connection. Today we've got the wonderful, absolutely awesome, happy to have her on, Karyl Iles, Vice President of Arbonne. She's always out and about, always got a smile on her face, always happy to connect people. And I selfishly want to surround myself with people like that who have always got a positive outlook. So without further ado, let's get her on the show. Please welcome Karyl. Hello, Karyl.
Hello there, Bruno, and it's lovely to be here with you. And the only reason I'm here is because you are a positive energy source. So there you go.
Likewise. Thank you very much for taking the time. Without further ado, let's catch straight on. Who is Karyl Iles? What's your story? How did you get to where you are? Who are you?
Oh, golly, right. Well, in a nutshell, I'll start at the age of 3, so settle down. No, that's just joking. But from the age of 3, I was dancing, and it was something I always loved. And inevitably, I then, as I grew older, became a professional dancer. And then, as happens very often when you're good at something, you end up teaching. So I was a secondary school teacher of dance, drama and English, because you had to do a proper subject as well in those days. And met and married my husband, Chris, who I know you know, Bruno. So I'm still with the first one, which is quite an achievement these days, but there we go. Anyway, we were both then living and working in Bristol, and both loved teaching, which was interesting to me because bizarrely a lot of teachers didn't seem to like children or enjoy what they were doing, but there we go. And but we always kind of had a bit of an adventurous outlook on life. And I think the predictability of teaching, I mean, we've been doing it for about 4 years, and the predictability was that you would look ahead from what's coming in the summertime, what's coming in the next holiday, and it was like living. So we were always on the lookout for what we would do perhaps next. And Chris came from adventure sports background, so slightly the opposite. You know, I was all for the indoors and theatres, and he was for the outdoors and mountains. But, you know, as happens, a job came up that was too good to turn down for Chris, running an outdoor management development centre. And he went for the interview, actually not expecting to get it, and did. So we then found ourselves moving from Bristol, which was fairly hip and happening, very dance and theatre orientated. It's the middle of the Lake District, which quite frankly, they hadn't quite heard of dance in those days. So whilst Chris had this fab job, I found myself without one because the only secondary school in the Lake District only taught adventure sports. How ironic. However, I just fell into thinking, what can I do anyway? And I thought, well, I can stand up and I can talk. And I thought, you know, well, that means I could probably sell. Oh, how naive I was, Bruno. Anyway, I sort of peddled my wares, and there were a lot of management development centres that needed somebody to sell. I became a freelance salesperson. And that led me to lots of exhibitions and stuff like that. But I also became fascinated with the world of development and leadership training, because that was the thing that I was selling. So I was getting more and more into that. Long story short, I was at an exhibition selling outdoor management development training, and there was a tube strike and no visitors. And I mean, no visitors came. It was at the Barbican, and it was like, honestly, it's like tumbleweed tumbling down the aisles. And you know how awful it is when you're at an exhibition and there's no visitors. So we all ended up going to each other's stands. And I ended up at a stand that was doing image consultancy and colour analysis, which was those beautiful cloths that you put around people and you show basically what suits them. And I decided in my infinite wisdom that this sounded like a great job because you could actually take people shopping and charge them for it. What woman doesn't want to do that? So fast forward, Chris Chris got offered another job. There's more story there, but eventually we ended up in Shropshire, and I had the opportunity to do that very job. So I became self-employed, set up my own company called Leading Image, walked around town centre trying to drum up business. Everybody thought I was bonkers. They have because GOC1 probably wasn't even born at this time. We're going back a bit. Trini and Susanna were nowhere to be seen on telly. But I decided in my infinite wisdom to send off information to companies about training their workforce in how to make a great first impression, etc. And lo and behold, it was a huge success and I was in demand. And it was right place, right time. Nobody else was doing it. And I ended up working with some amazing businesses, companies, and forging some amazing relationships. And that's probably one of the most important things, as you know, in business. And I worked very closely with the HR director of British Nuclear Fuels. And she said, have you ever heard of NLP? And I had to hold my hands up and say, no, sounds good. What is it? And she involved me in bringing over the first NLP trainers to the UK. And so I was, again, it's right place, right time, but it's being open to it, of course. I could have said, oh, no, I don't like the sound of that. And ended up becoming one of the first NLP trainers in the UK. And in the meantime, Chris is now running a company on behalf in Shropshire on behalf of a radio company owned by Lord Bradford. Lord Bradford, there was a recession. I mean, we had several recessions that we've lived through. And this one, Lord Bradford wanted to sell his shares in the radio company. So Chris did a management buyout and he was now running that company. I'm running Leading Image. And we've got two businesses in the same household. Now, how mad is that, Bruno? Bonkers.
Well, no comment, Karyl. You're a card.
Yeah, two lots of everything. So we decided, right, let's bring it together. Company was called Communicate, which kind of summed up what we're all about. So we're doing team building, you name it, anything to do with people, skills, that could be leadership or it could be customer services, whole gambit. And we ended up with, bringing on board amazing customers. We worked with Marks and Spencer's, GlaxoSmithKline, who everybody knows of now, of course, and, Mercedes-Benz Finance, but also councils, local government association. And as we got older, we were doing a lot of facilitation of teams, a lot of coaching of senior guys. And, life from the outside looking at us looked probably highly successful. Yep. We had 14 staff, great business, the houses, the cars, etc. However, we were like hamsters on a wheel. So, fast forward to getting a phone call into the office from Arbonne asking us to do a training piece at their conference. This is back in 2009, 2010. And we got the gig, as they say. Yep. And so I'm there delivering my piece of training at their first conference. Arbonne have been going now for 42 years. So this was about 38 years into the business, and they've been in the UK 2 years. And I'm done my bit, end up in the audience. And the lady who gets up to speak, it was like she'd read my mind. She said, if you take yourself forward into the future, 5 years from now, will you have the lifestyle that you really desire? And I thought, no, straight away. And so I listened to what this lady was talking about. It's very nice American. And I just thought, do you know what? That sounds like a really good idea. And the thing that got to me was that it was the thing when you're doing your own business and it's very dependent on yourself. And then any business owner will get this. Even when you're away on holiday, if there's a problem, it will come back to you. Yep. But the compounding factor is when you become a mum, and I became a mum quite late in life, to Dan, who you've met, and thank you, this generous person here just helped you know, out of the goodness of his own heart. And that is the type of person that Bruno is. And he got the job. So thank you, Bruno.
Really?
Yeah, when Dan came along, I had to just look at my life and realize that time with him was precious. He was around about 12 at the time, and I was missing school plays. I was missing him on the sports field. And I just thought, what's life about? So it's time for a change. It was scary. But I just thought, do you know what? Fear is not something that should ever put you off doing anything. So that was it. And been doing that for 12 years. So now I am part of an organisation. It's very much the sales part of the organisation, but we're all independent business owners. We're all able to carve our own niche. We're all able to, you know, we're all interdependent. And to me, interdependence is where it's at.
Yeah.
If you can get that in a business, it's very hard to achieve unless everybody, of course, has exactly the same opportunity. But that is one of the beauties of Arbonne. So that brings us right up to date.
No, thank you, Karyl, for that. Let me just pick up on a couple of things you've mentioned there, a couple of topics. One thing that really resonated with me: being in the right place at the right time, getting out, getting about, just, you know, there's opportunities popping up all the time, but if you're not out and about, you're not there, you know, with your eyes open, your ears open, trying to find them, you're never gonna, you know, they're never gonna be open to you. So coming at this from perhaps someone, I don't know, what would you tell someone going into business today, starting up a business today, thinking about, you know, starting their own project or their own business today?
Yeah,
how important is it, you know, to be out and about, to expose yourself to those opportunities? And then also, if I could, how important is it to actually analyze, perhaps something that I haven't done, how important is it to analyze what's important for you, what you want to get out of the business, you know, before you're 10, 15 years into it, thinking, oh, this isn't what I wanted, I'm not happy. How can we sort of learn from your experience without making the mistakes, if you want?
Absolutely. Both brilliant questions. I'll have to come on again and do something anyway, but seriously, brilliant questions. Exposure is so important. It really is, because it doesn't matter how excellent you are, how good you are. If nobody knows you or nobody knows about what you do, you'll just have an amazing product or service, but nobody will know about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to get out there. But I think the thing that will make you get out there is always why you are doing something. And that's your second point, really, because if you don't have a really good reason for doing what you are doing, you'll never get out of the bed in the morning to do it. Because remember, if you are running your own business, there's no timetable, there's no boss. It's all up to you. So there's a great book by Simon Sinek. It starts with why. Also, there's a TEDx talk.
Another one. It's awesome.
Go watch that. And I think the most important thing is develop yourself, because you will only limit the growth of your business by the growth of yourself. And so people think, well, you know, that takes confidence. But I would say it's not actually confidence you need, it's courage. And it's only with courage and getting out there on the skinny branch. And, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've failed, you know, but luckily I'm hoping that it was failing forwards.
Yep.
And that's the other thing. I think it's all about progress, not perfection. And, you know, I know that people being asked to do things like this, they think, oh, God, what happens if I make it? We will all make mistakes, but that's okay. So long as you're learning and willing to change, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah. No, I agree. I always say, I actually did a quick video about it the other day. It was, you know, confidence is not the absence of fear or the absence of apprehension. It's feeling it. You know, we all feel it, but it's the people that just bash through it, push through it. They're the ones that reap the rewards and aren't afraid to, you know, make a fool of themselves or aren't afraid to make mistakes. There's never a perfect time to do anything, you know.
Never. And I think that's the thing. If you are waiting for all your ducks to line up in a row before you make a decision, it ain't. And here's it won't happen.
It's so true. It's so true. And then finally, let me ask, what does the future hold for you? What's the plan? Is there perhaps anything major within your industry or anything else that people should be aware of? You know, what do you
Yeah.
think?
Well, I think this is a really exciting time for anybody, and anybody who is willing and open to anything really, to really noticing what the trends are. And I think, for us, we're in the wellness industry. Nutrition is huge, but it's currently valued, the wellness industry, at 4.5 trillion, which is enormous.
Yeah.
Now, also we have on the other side e-commerce, which anybody over the last 2 years we've all had to sort of look very, very closely at e-commerce, which has expanded hugely, and that's now worth 4.9 trillion. Now, luckily, Arbonne is a blend of e-commerce and wellness, so we are in an awesome position. 2020 saw the acceleration of 10 years worth of tech acceleration. I mean, that's huge.
Unheard of, yeah.
And the combination of wellness and e-commerce is expected to be worth 6 trillion by 2024. That's not far away. So, but I just think for anybody, being tech savvy is important. However, even more important now for people being involved in something is having a sense of purpose, being part of a community, working with people, leaving a legacy of some sort. We're very fortunate. Arbonne is a B Corporation, which is all about sustainability. The planet is important to us all. And so I think people are looking for something to do with meaning, with people. Kindness is becoming more and more important. So I just think for all of us, we need to be very aware it's not about us. And I think whenever you're running a business, and my philosophy has always been, it's not really about me. What is going to dictate how well I do is how well I serve others and how much I add value.
Yep.
So I think, how we add value is it, really.
I love it, Carol. You've certainly inspired me. I'm G'd up now. I'm ready to go.
Bless you.
Well, I think we're pretty close to our 20 minutes now, so we'll wrap it up. But all that is left for me to say, Carol, you are a legend. You're an inspiration. Always got a smile on your face. Always connecting people. Always visible. Always seen. You're showing up. 90% of success is just showing up.
Absolutely.
So thanks for that. And the final word's yours. How can people get in touch? Are you open to one-to-ones?
Oh, always. And if anybody is just starting out, wants to have a chat, absolutely love to help people. That's what I've always wanted to do. And so, there's my email there. Get in touch. I am obviously on LinkedIn. Do connect, but always happy to help.
Well, Carol, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, guys, people watching, that's been inspirational. It's certainly been inspirational to me. Carol, I will see you very soon.
Very soon indeed.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.